What's up, Ranger Nation? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the episode review of Power Rangers Beast Morphers episode 19. We're one episode away from the series finale of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This episode was a good one. I have to say that. I did find it a little odd that Nick posted the spoiler. You know, they always put out the little snippet of what the, a little sneak peek of the episode for the week. I was really surprised that they spoiled the whole episode. I was so surprised that they spoiled the biggest clip. Like, it wasn't even a cliffhanger, but like they left it on a cliffhanger with the clip. They revealed what was happening in this episode. I'm like, oh my God. Also, you guys, one other thing. You know, last week I was showing you guys some more stuff from my Ranger Vault, and I was thinking, since we saw the Ranger Vault this week, I'll show you something else from my Ranger Vault that I have. Time Force, you're under arrest. Yeah, I got the Time Force badge years ago for Christmas. Someone bought it for me, and I've had it since. It actually makes some lights and sounds, but it hasn't. I don't know if the batteries are dead in here. Pretty positive these batteries are dead because this toy is almost 20 years old. Yeah, this toy is almost 20 years. Actually, this toy is 20 years old. Because I think I got this. When did I get this? I think I got this toy in 2000. Or it could have been 2001. But this toy is at least, if it's not 20, it's almost 20. But yeah, that's that on that. Dang it, Drew. No one told you to fall. I also I do have a Joe figure from Beetleborgs Metallics. However, she lost her arm, so I don't know, one of her arms, I don't know where it is. It fell off. Also, before we even get into this video, we have to extend a rest in peace to the actress. I can't pronounce her name. I just saw this yesterday. The actress that played Yui in Keisha Ryu Soldier, she passed away of an illness. They didn't say what the illness was, but she did pass away at the age of 24. So rest in peace to that actress. So you guys, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this episode review because it was actually a really good episode. So let's talk about it. All right, you guys. So the episode picked up kind of just where the last one left off. You guys remember Evox, he's trapped at Grid Battle Force, and now everyone knows that he's trapped at Grid Battle Force. So they're trying to figure out, so we see Nate, him, Zoe, and Steel. They're in the lab. So what they're doing in the lab is they're trying to, create something that can destroy Evox since they have him trapped. So Nate has come up with this data packet. Now, what the data packet will do is, once he blasts Evox with the data packet, it'll scramble his coding until he's ultimately destroyed. So then we do see the Rangers. They go to where they're, where Evox is, where he's trapped at, and they let the shields down. And when they let the shields down, that's when Nate begins to just blast Evox. Boom, boom, boom. And what Nate's plan was is actually working. It is, scrambling his coding, and it's, it is destroying him. But Evox had another plan in himself. So what Evox did is he was able to upload himself into, the Grid Battle Force mainframe. And when he's doing that is he is gathering all the, the source codes for the, the Morphex towers. So, so he's going from computer to computer to computer, and the Rangers are trying to destroy the computers, but Evox is just really, really quick. So the Rangers ultimately, they start chasing Evox all around Grid Battle Force. So he goes from one room to like I said, from one room to the next. He does eventually make his way to the Ranger Vault. And once he goes into the Ranger Vault, we see him, he's coming out, and he has like a suitcase or a briefcase in his hand. And in Ranger history, we do know that that has only been used twice. It's been used once in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue when Captain Mitchell put the Rescue Morphers in one, and then it was also used in Power Rangers RPM when Dr. K put the RPM Rangers Morphers, well, the Rangers series operators. I never liked that. Ranger Operators Series Red. I never really liked that, but and that was actually the one thing about RPM that got on my nerves was the Ranger Operators Series Red, Black, Green, Silver, and Gold, and Yellow, and Blue. Like, that got on my nerves. So yeah, but Evox is actually taking the RPM's Rangers and Morphers. So he's able. So once he's in the lab, once he gets the Morphers, Evox is able to repair himself using the cell shift Morphers. Now, if you guys think about it, you will be wondering, why would he be using the cell shift Morphers? Well, Evox let us know why he's using the cell shift Morpher. Evox revealed to us that he is in fact Venjix, the computer virus that came from the RPM universe, or Corinth. And what happened is Nate, he was playing with one of the cell shift morphers years ago when he was a kid. He was using MorphX energy and snake DNA. Those two combined, and we now have Evox. And we're going to segue from this just for a second, because I always figured this, because when they announced Beast Morphers and when they told what the premise of Beast Morphers was, they said it was a sentient computer virus. I'm like, and then the year that last year, Beast Morphers premiered in 2019. I'm like, this is an anniversary year of RPM. Like, how can you have a series that's dealing with a computer virus premiere on the 10-year anniversary of Power Rangers RPM and not make mention to it? Like, I was like, how can you not make mention to RPM? I mean, it's perfect. But the Power Rangers Twitter page and Power Rangers Twitter page and people of the show were saying that this show had nothing to do with RPM. I'm like, come on. It has. I'm like, you gotta tie it in some way, somehow, because see, here's the thing with RPM. RPM was canceled. The show was canceled back in 2009. RPM was supposed to have been the final show of the series, and then they in 2010 they made that remake of MMPR, which was terrible in itself, which is actually on Netflix. It's really terrible. I hate it with the animations. So then when Power Rangers Samurai came about, I was like, okay, cool. Didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, would they do a team up with, the Samurai Rangers and the RPM Rangers? But when you didn't hear anything about it, I was like, maybe not gonna happen. But then when Clash of the Red Rangers happened, I'm like, okay, cool, Clash of the Red Rangers. They can actually tie up RPM with that show, with that season. They could tie it up, because you guys remember, at the end of Power Rangers RPM, when Dr. K closed the briefcase, the morphers started lighting up, and I'm like, uh-oh, Venjix is in that morpher. I'm like, wow, y'all in the series. I'm like, and I always thought that was really interesting that with RPM, they ended it with like a cliffhanger. I always thought that was interesting, like, because that was a cliffhanger. If I've never saw one in a series finale, that was a cliffhanger. I'm like, what? When I first saw RPM, the final episode, I'm like, he's in that morpher, and this show is over. So what are we gonna, like? That's never gonna get wrapped up. I was like, man, that really sucks that this is never going to get wrapped up. But then when Saban Brands brought back the show, I'm like, okay. And Samurai, I'm like, okay, maybe it's a possibility we could wrap it up. And then when I saw Clash of the Red Rangers announced, I'm like, okay, we got Clash of the Red Rangers. Scott is return. The Rangers, the RPM Rangers are returning, but no, it was just Scott, who couldn't demorph, for a dumb reason. He didn't know if he could breathe the air in the Samurai universe, but in your universe, the world is post-apocalyptic. Okay, Saban. And then Professor Cog, the most boring villain ever. All right, you guys. let's move on. Okay. All right, you guys. So once Venjix lets it, so are we calling him Venjix or Evox? We're gonna call him Evox and Venjix. Actually, he's just Venjix. Or is he Evox? Either way, you know what I'm talking about. So he is getting ready to leave, Grid Battle Force, and Ben and Betty decide that they want to try to stop him. I'm like, really? Ben and Betty? Okay, I guess I'm a sucker for it. So they weren't successful, to say the least. So the Rangers, they start to chase in behind Evox / Venjix, and when they morph to battle him, when Scott starts battling, I'm gonna say Venjix because when you listen to him, that is Venjix's voice. That is no longer Evox. That's Venjix's voice. So we're gonna say Venjix. So Devin started to fight with Venjix, and Venjix, when he took his saber to strike through him, Venjix was able to absorb Devin's saber. So it's kind of like it's actually exactly what Venjix did in RPM. If you guys remember, in RPM, Venjix infiltrated. Oh my God, he has the same. Does he have the same exact plan from RPM? Because I just remember what he did in RPM. I just remembered Venjix's plan in RPM. What Venjix did was in RPM, he was able to upload himself into Dr. K's computer. When he got on her computer, he was able to get all the codes for the what did she call it? What did Dr. K call it? She didn't call it the biosphere. Is that what it's called, you guys? Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a minute since I watched RPM. I haven't watched it in about a few months, but I think it was the biosphere that he was. So he was able to infiltrate himself into her computer. He took out the Megazords, and he also took out Jim and Gemma at the same time. And he infiltrated the Grid Battle Force mainframe, got the codes to the Morphex energy. Is his plan the same? But see, this time, it's a little bit different for him, because Venjix in RPM, he could switch he had, how many bodies did Venjix have? He had 2 bodies, right? See, Venjix actually had 3 bodies. He had 3 bodies. The one that just couldn't move, the one that just was, stationary. Then his 2 bodies that actually moved around. But see, with this version of Venjix, he can't do anything. He's literally in this body permanently. So he can't do anything. Okay. So if they defeat him, he's gone this time. But yeah, so the Rangers were unable to beat him, suffice it to say. So then, we see Nate, he's in the lab. Nate is upset at himself for, allowing Venjix to come from the RPM world to their world. And Zoe comes in, and Zoe tries to cheer Nate up, but unfortunately, Nate is just down on himself. He's defeated, he's upset, and he's blaming himself. And Zoe goes and talks to Commander Shaw and to Devin, and she tells them, like, he's not in a good space right now. But she says to Devin, I need your help to make a trans-dimensional call. I'm like, that's my girl. I'm like, that's my girl. That's my girl. That's my girl. I'm gonna pause here and move forward. All right, you guys. So Nate, like I said, he's in the lab and he's upset at himself. And then it happens. One of the trans-dimensional portals open, and who comes out? Dr. K comes out with a new bob and all. I'm so glad that they updated that bob, because the one from RPM, I know Dr. K cut her own hair, and you could tell because that bob in RPM was bad. But Dr. K is back. So Dr. K, we all know Dr. K is the one who created the Venjix virus, because she wanted to go outside of the Alphabet Soup think tank. And when they, because they always told her she was allergic to the sun. You're allergic to the sun, K. You're allergic to the sun. So she created the Venjix virus. And, when she tried to, she created it, but when she tried to stop it, they took her and, my name is Vengeance. Your world is now my world, and your time is over. It's not over. If you can hear my voice, please make your way to the domed city of Corinth. I'm going to watch RPM in a little bit. As you guys can see, I have it on DVD, RPM. And I've actually been watching, I actually started binge watching yesterday, Power Rangers Samurai. It's still just as bad as I thought it was back when I first watched it on television. It's not going to get any better for me. So Dr. K, she arrives. She's trying to help Nate. Nate doesn't want the help. And I'm like, Nate, you have the doctor who created the virus. If you work with her, like your brain and her brain together, you guys can stop Vengeance. And that's what she was really trying to tell him. But he was so down on himself. So then we do see Vengeance. So like I said, Vengeance has all the codes. So what he wants, he has a plan. So he gives it to Robo Blaze and he wants it uploaded into the tower. The codes uploaded into the towers. But once Robo Blaze leaves, he also gives Scrozzle another copy that he made. And I figured it out. I'm like, oh, so if Robo Blaze is defeated, then Scrozzle can get the job done. It's pretty smart. The one thing I will say though is Vengeance created some smarter general. He has some better generals than he did in RPM because General Crunch was stupid. What was now the only one in RPM that was kind of smart was Tenaya 7 and the one that turned Tenaya 7 into Tenaya 15, which I can't shift. Nope, that Crunch and Shifter were the two bumbling ones. What was the one that turned Tenaya 7 into Tenaya 15? I can't even think of his name right now. I'm drawing a big blank. And I actually can hear Tenaya saying his name, but it's just so distant that I can't think of it right now. But you guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's pause here and move and finish up the episode. All right, you guys. So in the lab, Dr. K and Nate, they have created an antivirus, to use against. Now she's called him Evox, but I'm still saying he's Vengeance because all he did was just morphed into another form. So what they'll do is it's going to be an arrow on the Beast X King Ultra Bow that they'll use. So the other Rangers come into the to the lab to tell Nate that they've been able to find Blaze. They've spotted Blaze, but Nate is like, why don't y'all go deal with it? He's like, no, come with this so we can take care of this. So the Rangers, they do go and, they find Blaze and start to battle Blaze. And then Dr. K calls them and tells them, hey, the arrow is ready. So then, Nate calls on the arrow and Nate blasts the arrow right at Robo Blaze. And he's like, come on, blow up. And he eventually does blow up. So they have defeated Robo Blaze, and that's the end of my notes actually. And they go back to the lab. They ask Dr. K, will she stay? And she's like, nope, I can't stay. I got to get back to my world to make sure that Vengeance hasn't tried to make his way from your world to my world. And that's really where it ended. We saw that the Morphex tower started activating, and they have no control over it at Grid Battle Force because it is actually Evox/Vengeance that has control of it. And that's the end of the episode, you guys. He let them know you guys would stop Robo Blaze, but you didn't stop my boy Scrozzle. But again, you guys, like I said, that's it. Be sure to like this video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. Ranger Nation, let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about this episode. I freaking enjoyed it. I figured it from the beginning when like I said, I never doubted that they were, I doubted it, but I'm like, there's no way you can have a series about a computer virus and not mention the ultimate computer virus, which is Vengeance. But let me know what you guys think about that. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware when I drop anything else, and share this video, Ranger Nation. And it's the next one, you guys. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and socially distance. And I will see you guys next Saturday for the series finale of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So sad to see this cast go, but really excited for Power Rangers Dino Fury. All right, you guys. Bye.